Hey guys, how you doing? Whew. I am doing great. Thank you for asking. Life is good. Life is good. So while I put my face together, it's a little together, it looks pretty worn because I've been doing some stuff. And anyway, I thought we would have a cup of something good and talk about it. We're going to talk about Lizzie Borden again. Oh, that's good. Oh, yeah. That's real good. Strong. So, yesterday and stuff I was digging and had a conversation with someone that had some crazy conclusions today. Okay, so we all know that Lizzie Borden is believed to be guilty in the slaying of her stepmother and biological father. Her biological mother, by the way, I can't remember her name, but she was, she had a disease. She died in her 30s, I think. And it was uterine, like a uterine issue with clotting. So, and yeah, I'm having another hot flash. This is really weird. Oh, I took a drink and I'm too hot. That's what it is. It's been going on for a while. Yeah, look, all of a sudden, woo. All right, so uterine clotting issues. So I was thinking, I was going to go down the rabbit hole and think, okay, well, I did go down the rabbit hole. I was thinking, well, what if her family had something to do with it? And that leads me down to this one. So there is no conclusive evidence that Lizzie Borden did anything. She was food poisoning. The whole family was her sister, herself, her dad, her stepmother, and an uncle had the meal. Everybody was sick. To the best of my understanding, and this is everything I'm looking at, researching, reading, digging, and everything else. It doesn't mean it's true. It just means this is what I'm looking at, because there's several different stories. It's like you can't really believe everything because we're not there. 1893. Yeah. 2. They sat down to a dinner. Now, I said beef in the last one because I just didn't know. So I made it up. Maybe beef. It's easy to think of, but actually it was probably more like mutton, because mutton is an old ram. And because they're not sterile, they have the sperm makes the meat really strong. And trust me, if you've ever had mutton, you never want to have it again. Unless you're starving to death, you don't want it again. And her father was the cheapest SOAB I've ever. Whoa! I mean, honestly, the real. Anyway, he. All right, so Lizzie's stepmother was in the house. Said to the housekeeper, "Go outside and wash the windows." Now, keep in mind, there's a lot of belly aching. Okay, I'm going to make up the story for you, okay? There's a lot of belly aching in the day, literally, because everybody has food poisoning from the meat because there was refrigeration in that time period. He was too cheap even for running water. So the meat fermented overnight. It went bad. They all got sick. The housekeeper, the father, Lizzie, who was laying on her bed. She was upstairs, and they said, "Oh, well, you must have done it because, the stepmother was upstairs." She didn't know what she was saying because she had been all hopped up on morphine. But anyway, my view. Just look into it. It's interesting. But the housekeeper actually had been sent outside by Lizzie's stepmother to go outside and wash windows. And now, where was it? not Missouri, not Mississippi. Oh, it's one of those areas anyway, in the South where it's really super hot. So, you know, she's outside working her butt off, scrubbing windows, and probably grabbing a corner of the yard if she could even walk that far, and throwing up. She was really terribly sick. And that is on record. You could look that up for yourself. Really sick. But she's being made to work outside and wash windows. In which time, stepmother goes upstairs, this is on record, to the guest bedroom and has linen, fresh linens. They've just been pressed. They were washed and pressed and all that. And they smell like fresh, you know, fresh air and really nice. Goes upstairs, toddles up there, and does the linen, or the linens on the bed. Now, here's something interesting to keep in mind. Lizzie didn't come down for breakfast that morning because she's that sick in her room. Probably using the chamber pot to puke in. Just saying, not accurate, but it could be. Her sister was away that day, which is very unusual. Her sister rarely left the home. Just saying. That leaves the housemaid, the uncle, and Mr. and Mrs. Sorry, just got it for a second. Borden. So, 4 people in there. The uncle, the housemaid, and the 2 Bordens. And to my understanding, whether it's correct or not, Mr. Borden had left for work roughly 9 a.m. or 9 a.m. I'm not sure exactly which one it is. You can research that yourself. So he's going off to work, and he's just feeling dog sick, like really bad. Really, really, really bad. And in that time period, Mrs. Borden never did get up off the floor in that guest room. She was bludgeoned with a sharp object. And there's a rap on the door or a ringing on the bell, whatever. No, before that. Lizzie's uncle left at 8 o'clock in the morning. So he's gone, apparently, allegedly. I don't know that he left. I'm just saying. I don't know, because I wasn't there, right? And I have to say allegedly for everything, because how do I know? I mean, unless you're, oh, even if you're at a courthouse, we're not going to get it all right. It's going to be a little bit messed up, because nobody has all the accurate information except for God himself. He's the only one who knows what's really going on. But a heck of a situation. So the uncle apparently is gone. That's what I'm told. So I don't know, but I'm told that. Okay. Allegedly. Housekeeper's outside washing windows. Stepmom gets bludgeoned. Her blood coagulated. So roughly meaning approximately 40 minutes to an hour and a half gone before Mr. Borden comes to the house, raps on the door or rings the bell. I've heard both stories, so kind of have to go with both. And Lizzie comes from upstairs, down the stairs, feeling like, oh, I'm going to puke, right? You know, oh, this is unusual, Father. Come on in. I'm not feeling well. I need to lie down, he says. Oh, let me help you. Because that's what they did. They were actually really close. Her and her dad had a close relationship. From everything I can grab a hold of, there was a very loving relationship. And I don't mean it in a disgusting way. I mean in a loving father-daughter way. And he was a good dad, very stern and very strict and everything, but from what I can gather, there wasn't any incest, and somebody else may say, well, I disagree. Okay, disagree, that's fine, put it in the comments and let me know, because she wasn't found guilty. This is the whole thing. It took, when they went, okay, it took 90 minutes for the jury to leave the courthouse and come back with a not guilty verdict. So they didn't find her guilty. I don't know that they actually knew she was all hopped up from the doctor, which that to me is very suspicious. Why was the doctor called right away? Okay, I think he was called to check that the father had no pulse. And they did the autopsy, to the best of my recollection, in the house at that time. So that's a little weird, because you would think he would have to go somewhere else, because if well, we know it's a crime scene, but if it is, why would he be doing this inside the house? Can't that taint the crime scene, or did he even know that it could? I don't know. I have no idea. No idea. Not a clue. But just being truthful here, from everything, I watched a blurb of M.W. Phelps, my favorite crime story writer. And look, the crime is already done. I'm not getting, a thrill. Like, my thrill is to figure out why things happen and what motivates people. And some stories say that, allegedly, they say she used to brutalize we animals. Well, again, there's no proof. It's not conclusive. It's not evidence. It's called hearsay. And I talk to cops all the time, okay? One of my best buddies is a retired officer, and his wife happens to be chief of police. Yeah. So I like to look up terms and sit back and, bug the heck out of. It's fun. Anyway. I know they made a song and, all this stuff, but okay, after court, she's found out guilty. Her and her sister split up the money from the house, from the estate. They split it up. They go buy a house on the hill, which they wanted to do. Their father put a lot of obstacles in the girl's way for them to get married, because wasn't she 30? Yeah, I think she was 30, Lizzie Borden. And her sister was, she was 31, her sister was 41, something like that. One or the other. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. My view on that is that they had a kind of I don't know. It was like, well, guys, you're going to have a good life. We're going to give you everything you need, but just the bare necessities of necessity. So they had water, but they had to pump it out. They had candles, so, and they had a wood stove and whatever. And maybe some people just call it off-grid, and a lot of people want to return to that. But Lizzie was looking at her cousins and other relatives just up over the hill. And they're like, loser, you're living down with it, the workers. You're not living in a pristine neighborhood like we are. It is said, whether this is true or not, but a lot of church, family members on the upper area wouldn't sit beside the Bordens. The other Bordens wouldn't sit beside Lizzie's family, because they didn't consider them to be really family, because they wouldn't live like they were well off. Meanwhile, they could have. Now, Lizzie's dad, if you want to know what he did for a living, he was a carpenter slash insurance. He did a lot of stuff. A carpenter. He did coffins. He made coffins, and had a very disreputable reputation. People did not like him. They didn't get paid by him. He was a miser with their money as well as his own. So he would owe his employees, but he would rarely pay them. I don't even know why they stayed, but I guess it was just those times they had to. But seriously, he had other jobs and other ways of making money, but he was just that kind of person, So he could have been a little more decent with the girls and had running water, at least. That would have been something. Instead of them, boiling. That's how they did it, by the way, back in those days. They boiled their hot water on the wood stove, even if it was hot outside. Inside, they've got a wood stove going on. They're boiling their water, and they're adding that to the bathing device. So I don't know. I think she got a bad rap. I really do. Yeah. Guilty? Nope. No way. Nope. Not my view anyway. I'm a pretty strong-minded person and say what I think, but and I'm no lawyer, I'm no judge. But 90 minutes for a jury to go out after they've seen the evidence and they're like, no. But the thing is, you know, she led a guilty life. And here's how, in my view. People wouldn't sit with her at church. They ostracized her. The church ostracized her. Her sister lived with her only for a couple of years, brief time stay, and ended up leaving because the church ordered her that if she wanted to remain a member of their church. Her sister wasn't known to be a very reputable lady, and she had to move out from her sister. So it broke up the friendship and the relationship that they had had their whole life. Now, it is sad that it is possible, and I'm just saying this, okay, there's no judgment either way. It is said that Lizzie had hooked up with, not Carnival, but kind of like Hollywood people, you know, people doing acting, and that there was a possible liaison with another lady, and I don't know if that's true or not, or if that's just gossip. I don't know. I wasn't there, so again, this is not slander. I'm just saying this is something that I came across, and one way or the other, I don't give a crap. I think the whole thing is, for me, she led a very solitary life, very much away from the life she had before, like family, friends, and church members. And this was a Sunday school teacher. She very much desired to be with the people that she was with before. And all of a sudden, everybody's like, ooh, we don't go, no, don't go near her. And they judged her. They judged her very harshly. And she lived a very solo life with a few people to help in the home, a chauffeur, I believe. She had a coach as well. And I believe a butler, a couple of housekeepers. So it wasn't really, I mean, I'd like to have that. Anybody want to work for me? You don't, because I'm a Jew. When it comes to money. And I am Jewish, so I can say that. English, Scottish, and Jewish in there. I'm very cheap with my money when I want to be. But no, guilty. I really don't believe she was, but I believe that she was really tried by a horrible place. She did change her name from Elizabeth Borden to Lisbeth, or Elizabeth. And it didn't change anything. She still was treated like a guilty party, like a guilty person. And she never could get away from it. Now, in my view, and the benefit of hindsight, right? So this is what this is kind of what I come up with now in the end of it. If it were me, because of knowing now what happened to her, if I were back in those days and I could sit back and go, self, do this, I would have moved away with the money. I probably would have lived a life of, husband, spouse isn't around, and changed my name, of course. That would have been a big thing. I did in this life. And I didn't do it for any reason other than I didn't like the name Juanita, big deal. But being Lizzie Borden, I definitely would have changed first, last, and inside out. Like, would have been complete different birthday. I just would have completely done. I would have gone in a different neighborhood, different state, possibly even out of the United States, and just in another location where maybe times weren't as hard and women weren't treated with such oppression as I believe she was, and other women too. She's lucky, I think, that she was found innocent, because if she had been found guilty by her jurors, I think the punishment back in those days was hanging. Yeah, pretty sure it was hanging. So you don't want that, So I guess, yeah, but really, she was innocent but led a guilty life. And even to this day, 24, we're sitting back saying, did she do it? Well, in my view, if you ask me, all of this is just hearsay, and it's on, you can research this stuff on Google, and you can watch some YouTube videos, whatever. You'll get all kinds of information. No, I don't believe she's guilty at all. I don't. I can't see who I could. say who I think is guilty. I don't believe it was Lizzie at all. I don't believe it was her. I don't believe it was her sister. I believe that the person that killed her two parents, stepmother and father, was potentially and a physical man, very physically fit. 19 blows. That's not nothing. That's something. And that's a guy who and I have all kinds of theories about that. Could be a guy who's interested in her and dad said no. Could be a person who is Mr. Borden did bad dealings with and got, really upset. That's personal. Hey man, if somebody's taking my money, that's personal to me. Somebody owes me money and I'm telling you, I got a story for you. Somebody did owe us money, a large amount of money. Paul was just dogging it. I'll get it. And a couple months I was like, dude, you still no? He's like, no. Give me the number. Within 2 days, cut check. And I don't put up with somebody. Know me money? Cough it up now, pal. Yep. I don't play nice. No. And if I were Lizzie Borden, they would have seen a different personality. Not meek and mild. They would have said, yeah, she's guilty. Look at her personality, man. Yeah, move out of the area, change your name, different birthday, whatever, and live a life. And yeah, you could just sit back and say, my spouse. Yeah, I don't want to talk about it. Just say my spouse. That's not a lie. My spouse. Meh. But it was sad for her, I think. Very sad. Yeah, whoever would have thought that from the time of me being a child, I really did believe that she did it because everybody said she did. And yet she was found innocent. And my interest years ago started from, a song, a skipping rope. And they still do it apparently today. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what I'm told. Who knows? Who knows? Any of this stuff is horse crap, right? Who knows? Anyway, Google your own stuff. Come to your own interpretation. Don't just listen to me. I don't have all the answers, but it is sure fun. Go down that rabbit hole. And I think I'm about done now. So I am going to be doing quite a few. Oh, I didn't mean it would be this long. Yeah, I can't find paper. I think it got burned in the fireplace. I'll make another video and give you a list of people that I'll be covering. See ya.